By using a program called DX-Tweak, he could limit the steering range of the analog stick to be 34%. And then, much like Kappa's hybrid setup, that is how he played the track. After many hours of grinding that day, Elcon eventually got this run.
See, this what I like about the speedrun community. They see a obstacle and they try to overcome it. They don't scream at the obstacle, go away. No. They are trying to conquer the obstacle by obliterating it. By taking so much time and effort and brain power to come up with something so ingenious or so incredibly hard to do that they just overcome it. This right here is winner mentality, dude. This is the epiphany of winner mentality. And that's why they are the best in the game. That's why they become #1 in the speedrun. Because they aren't these sore little losers that see some obstacle that seems impossible and just give up. No, they don't give up. They get extra motivated just because they see something that seems impossible. What's good, YouTube? Yo, welcome to a video about a game I've recently played for the very first time and had a blast. Even though the free-to-play options in the game were a little bit bare bones, but I still filled out, how many was it? 5 hours? Only playing the free-to-play stuff? Like, now that could be because I'm pretty bad at the game, but that doesn't matter, okay? Anyway, the reason why I played the game was because of this dude, okay? I've been bench watching this guy's video, Wirtual TV, okay? I've been bench watching his videos, like enjoying them, like him like doing a bunch of like races and whatever the fuck he uploads, right? Like I've been eating it up, bro. Crazy. Anyway, but this video right here is a little bit special because this is more like drama oriented, and considering my video or my channel is a little bit more drama than gameplay reactions. This was a really good video for me to swoop into the Trackmania community a little bit on my YouTube channel outside of playing the game. So yeah, we're watching the video about I don't know, something. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I don't know what the video is about. The video is called "The Story of Trackmania's Most Controversial Map." So I'm assuming he got in some drama. Nice. Anyway, yeah, cool. Here we go, baby. Hit it.
This is Midori, a Trackmania full-speed map with elements of bobsleigh that I created, set in a floating island scenery. At a first glance, this map looks pretty innocent, but it is home to the biggest controversy in Trackmania in 2022. And the story behind why is a pretty interesting one. It all started when I got the idea to host a challenge. I wanted to build a track perfectly suited to my skill set and try to grind it for a near impossible author time. The first 5 players to beat the author time would get $1,000 in prizes, as well as real-life author medals. 1 second. Like,
that's fire, though. What? That's so cool.
Pretty cool, right? That looks amazing.
How can they cancel him for this?
This was a fantastic idea, but things didn't exactly go as planned. The track was released on the 23rd.
What even is drama surrounding in this game? Like, oh, I bet you cheated. Like, is that it? Like,
of July. And within just 24 hours, several pro players had claimed the time I set was outright unbeatable, and that I had cheated when I drove the author time. And as it turns out, they weren't entirely wrong. Though not on purpose, the way I drove the Midori author time was so controversial that I almost got myself banned from Trackmania, but now...
Wow! Okay! Okay, how would you cheat in this game? You either play on controller or keyboard, right? Considering angles in like driving is very important in this game, maybe... I don't know, maybe he had like some specialized keyboard or something, or like a setting in his keyboard settings that made him perfectly align in the turn or something to lose as little speed as possible. Is that what is that it? Is he just, did he have like some keyboard that he was using that he maybe like got from a sponsor or something. And that like he was able to like, I don't know, change the pressure on the keys or something. I don't know. So I think something might like that sounds the only reasonable thing. Like how is he gonna cheat? Like I've seen cheaters in this game before. Like, you know, and why would he put his reputation on the line just to cheat? Like that makes no sense. So it has to be something something he did without understanding or without considering it cheating. So only thing I can think of is like some specialized keyboard.
Now that the dust has finally settled, it's time to tell the story of how Midori became Trackmania's most controversial track. When it comes to building Trackmania maps, there is no greater honor a creator can receive than having their track be chosen as track of the day. Every day, the developers sift through thousands of tracks to choose the one track that becomes officially added as that day's track of the day. In April of 2022, I started building Midori, with hopes of making something of such good quality that it could receive the track of the day status. This was a good starting point, but the surroundings so far were incredibly tame. The scenery on a Trackmania map is really what can make it feel magical and come to life. And for this, I got the help of Trackmania streamer Moji, who put in over 40 hours of work into turning what was no more than just a simple sketch into this breathtaking landscape. The attention to detail and the overall result is honestly quite stunning, and I really recommend checking out her channel to see exactly how she does it. With the scenery in place, the track was complete, and I started grinding for the aforementioned author time challenge. When I first started doing speedruns of Midori, I thought a time under 45 seconds would be amazing. But not long after, I managed to get that with relative ease. And I still felt I had a long way left to go to optimize the track. Soon, I found myself stuck at 44:57. All things considered, a good time on the track. But annoyingly, in that run, I messed up the very last corner and lost a couple of hundredths there. I told myself I would go for one final improvement and leave it at that, as I had already played the map now for over 15 hours in total.
Damn.
And then, this run happened.
Whoa. Okay. What? Wait. What happened here?
Improvement, and leave it at that, as I had already played the map now for over 15 hours in total. And then, this run happened.
Look, it's pretty equal. He's a little bit quicker, but that's just because he got better lines. But here, though, he gets a whole car length ahead. And once he gets out of this, the car is gone, dude. What? Something gave him a boost. Or...
$44,458. This was beyond anything I could have expected, and a worthy challenge to anyone who wanted to get the real-life author medals. Stylistically, Midori is all about snowballing speed. If you ever manage to squeeze out a tiny speed advantage early on, it will often translate into greater and greater time gains throughout the track.
Yeah.
To keep up with my author time, players couldn't afford to miss a single detail, especially early into the run. The author run had a great ice wiggle in the start downhill, followed by a precise low jump into the bobsled, and a really good first bobsleigh turn. Bobsleigh turns are where things start to get interesting. When you're driving a bobsleigh turn, you always want to be steering a little bit, but the exact amount depends on how fast you're going. For a low-speed bobsleigh turn, the ideal steering amount might be as high as 60%, and for a hyperspeed turn, it could be as low as 25%. The essential principle at work is that the faster you are, the less you should steer. When Trackmania 2020 released, this absolutely sucked for keyboard players, since keyboard players have the choice of not steering at all at 0% or full steering at 100%, but no values in between.
Damn, okay.
So in any bobsleigh turn, you were bound to lose time. This led some professional keyboard players like Kappa to getting creative and driving competitions with a hybrid input setup, where he would use keyboard for the majority of the run, and then whenever a bobsleigh turn appeared, he would use a controller that he had lying on his desk to gently steer through the turn, and then continue on keyboard afterwards.
That's big brain,
The
dude.
developers found this silly, and they wanted to introduce something to bridge the gap between keyboard and controller. So they made something called action keys. Action keys are essentially just macros. When used, they let you lock your steering at different percentages. In my opinion...
Oh, that's what they are. Bro, when I was going through the settings in the game, I saw action keys, like, wait, what the fuck? Am I playing an RPG? And I just totally forgot it existed. That's how it is. Okay.
They're a great addition to the game, as they give keyboard players a fighting chance without having to switch input device. A theoretically perfect turn could still be one massively favored towards controller players.
Yeah.
Where, say, you have to enter it steering 49.2% and exit it with like 42.4%. But in other situations, action keys could be favored. With the consistency that action keys provide, where you just hold one button and get 40% all the time, it could be easier than trying to estimate that on an analog stick. Entering the first bobsleigh turn on Midori, you are driving at 400 speed, which happens to line up with when 40% steering is the sweet spot. Following that, you have to precisely speed slide on the dirt and the platform before the wall ride, before you get to the second bobsleigh turn. At this point, you are going at 540 speed, meaning the bobsleigh steering needs to be much lower than in the first turn. As a keyboard player, you have the options of either turning 40% or 20%, both of which are not ideal. In testing, I discovered that the steering angle that seemed to gain the most speed was right around 34%. But
here it comes. Here it comes. He got a specialized keyboard, which makes him able to make the 34% on the keybind.
But how exactly can you achieve that on a keyboard? In the summer of 2021, the keyboard company Wirtual sent me one of their models that they wanted me to try.
Listen, I don't want to... I'm gonna get accused of pre-watching this. But I was right. I was right. It was the keyboard.
And give feedback on, so they can improve their analog keyboards for Trackmania players. The really powerful thing about this keyboard, though, is that it allows you to customize a lot of things. The user can set which buttons they want to be the analog ones, and exactly what analog curve they should have.
Wow.
So if you wanted an analog key to produce, say, 29% steering when fully pressed down, their software allows you to do that. This is where the heart of the issue lies. I was convinced that this was the future for keyboard players in Trackmania. So ever since I received it, I've been using it as my main keyboard. I've showed on stream many times how it works and what I'm trying to do with it. I've talked about it in several discords with pro players, and I even planned on making a video detailing exactly how it works. But unfortunately, that one fell to the wayside. At the time of setting the Midori author medal, I'd been using this keyboard for over a year, with
I get why people would accuse him of cheating, because now the author time to beat, you need to essentially buy a specialized keyboard to make it as easy as possible. I kind of get the backlash. Yeah, I do. Honestly, if I was Wirtual, I don't know. I think I would have actually thought of this. Like, your keyboard does something that normal keyboards can't. You are essentially an enhanced lifter in a natty lifting competition. Like, how did he not understand, or how did he not connect the dots that this was, or could potentially be seen as cheating? Which I think it actually is. I think this is definitely cheating. Because now, if you want to get the author time, you need to either get that keyboard, right, to do the specific things that he did, or it takes it's way harder to do.
No pushback or problems, and I really thought nothing more of it. I just went about my usual way of gaming. So to get the 34% steering in the second and third bobsleigh turn, I just used an analog profile on my keyboard and held the key all the way to get 34% steering. This made my car accelerate a lot through the bobsleigh turns, and I was able to carry that speed over the great platforms by speed sliding and maintaining the lead. As I crossed the finish line, I got a massive 1200th improvement, and I told myself, that is that. The speed loss from using 40% steering instead of 34% in the last two bobsleigh turns is actually quite significant.
Yeah, we saw.
It seemed like there was no way to beat the author time with Action Key 2. Elcon, who is one of the world's best...
Although I know the speedrunning community, and especially if there's money on the line, speedrunners, they pull shit out their hats that you could never imagine. Like, for example, I've watched plenty of videos about like Mario Kart speedruns and stuff. Like, bro, the things that they invent, the things that they think of, the things that they discover, it's insane, dude. Like, I have so much respect for people that are so dedicated to a game that they want to speedrun. Like, it's crazy.
Ice and full speed players, and a clear favorite to win the challenge was still 3,500ths behind the author medal after grinding for an entire day. To clear up the confusion, I decided to post a tweet where I explained how I'd driven my author time. This, however, disappointed a lot of people. The perception at the time was that I had just made a map with...
Damn, I've been sneezing a lot lately, holy shit. Since people are asking, the author run on Midori is driven with the analog key KB and specifically analog keys for bobsled turn 2 and 3. Showed this off on stream last year and been using it ever since. I guess it's time to get a clear ruling on whether it's allowed or not. Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Post a tweet where I explained how I'd driven my author time. This, however, disappointed a lot of people. The perception at the time was that I had just made a map with an author time so ridiculous that the only way to beat it was by going out and buying an analog keyboard for $150 and then setting up your own custom action keys to get enough speed out of the last two bobsleigh turns. Many were rightfully upset and argued that this should be considered cheating, but up until this point there had been no rules on what is allowed and what isn't with an analog keyboard. Despite the best effort by people in the community to have a rational discussion, things quickly got out of hand. Many hate tweets started flying back and forth, massive Reddit threads were made, thousands of
people who did not compete in the speedrun got known about the situation and they covered the drama. The people that make those kind of videos or content have an audience that tend to be very toxic. I think it escaped the intended audience, no pun intended, and that's why hate got spread.
Discord messages from sunrise until sunset. Two players even went as far as blatantly cheating to get the author time, claiming that if Wirtual can cheat, then so can we. They did this by modifying the game's physics to permanently give themselves a reactor booster, and then driving to the finish with an impressive 6 seconds faster time.
You're such a loser, bro. Streaming it too, that's the dumbest thing as well. Not only are you a loser, you also just cheated in broad daylight. What, are you fucking retarded, dude?
And then trying to claim the prize money. Not gonna lie, I hadn't expected that when I set up this challenge. Unfortunately though, both of these players got banned from the game as soon as Nadeo returned.
Unfortunately? What do you mean unfortunately? Hold on.
Unfortunately though, both of these players got banned from the game.
Why is that unfortunate? Cheaters should always get banned from the game. Fuck those, man. Fuck people that cheat. Fuck people that hack. Get out of here, bro. Nah. Absolutely not. I got no sympathy for people that do that. No. Fuck them.
As soon as Nadeo returned from their vacation. As it turns out, modifying your input device and modifying the game's physics aren't one and the same thing.
Yeah, no shit.
The next day, Elcon managed to set up...
One is actually, like, understandably, right? It's not intentional cheating. The other one was intentional cheating.
up his controller as a custom action key. By using a program called DX-Tweak, he could limit the steering range of the analog stick to be 34%. And then, much like Kappa's hybrid setup, that is how he played the track. After many hours of grinding that day, Elcon eventually got this run.
See, this what I like about the speedrun community. They see a obstacle and they try to overcome it. They don't scream at the obstacle, go away. No. They are trying to conquer the obstacle by obliterating it. By taking so much time and effort and brain power to come up with something so ingenious or so incredibly hard to do that they just overcome it. This right here is winner mentality, dude. This is the epiphany of winner mentality. And that's why they are the best in the game. That's why they become #1 in the speedrun. Because they aren't these sore little losers that see some obstacle that seems impossible and just give up. No, they don't give up. They get extra motivated just because they see something that seems impossible. Anyway, let's see this run. He's way faster, by the way. Jesus.
A very impressive 44.437, becoming the first player to successfully beat my time and the first player to claim a Midori author medal and $400 in prizes. After talking with my community about it on stream and speaking directly with Carl Jr., the 5-time world champion of Trackmania, it was clear there were big concerns about this becoming the meta in the game. Part of the beauty of Trackmania is that you only really need 4 buttons to compete: up, down, left, and right. If using custom action keys was necessary to beat my author time, that would kind of defeat the purpose, as the difficulty would be made really arbitrary. It was no—
Yeah, but didn't you just say that they created action keys so that it's not just 3 keys anymore, it's now more than 3? Also, on top of that, like, controllers are a thing as well. Like, I understand that you want to try to make it as equal as possible, but you'll never achieve equality. It will always be unequal in some way or fashion.
No longer about high skill driving, but who had the most advanced setup. After realizing my mistake, I decided to grind Midori again, but this time by only using in-game action keys of 40, 60, and 80% steering, to set a time on a setup that everyone has access to. After playing for a couple of hours, I managed to get a 44.573. 1100 slower than my custom action key time, but still much faster than everyone except Elcon on the map. I decided to make this the new unofficial author time on Midori and change the rewards so that anyone who beat the 44.573 would still be eligible to win the prizes. Over the following days, the player Jan123405.
Bro, there's a lot of Dutch guys in this game, bro. I've seen so many Dutch people in this game, dude.
Would become the second person to beat the author time, and the player Motta2002 would get it as well. Though both of them—
Motta isn't just mate? Am I crazy? Isn't that just mate?
Jan123405 would become the second person to beat the author time, and the player Motta2002
yeah, mate 202p.
would get it as well.
Sure.
Though both of them had also used a 34% steering setup. This still counted for prizes, as we had yet to receive any ruling from the developers. 2 spots now remained in the pricing. And as I was looking at the field of contenders, I noticed something very interesting. The player Shadowcrancer was going for the ultimate Chad move, playing the entire track on controller from start to finish. For reasons I won't get too much into now, this loses a lot of time in the start, as the wiggle down the bobsleigh is best done on either keyboard or the D-pad. But the interesting part was that in the bobsleigh turn, by moving the control stick with surgical precision, he was gaining time compared to those that just used a 34% action key. Doing this in the second and third bobsleigh turn on Midori, Shadowcrancer was gaining upwards of 4 to 5 speed, compared to just holding 1 steering value, and ultimately proving that the real action keys had been joysticks all along. The Trackmania community, and myself included, had gotten so lost in the sauce of which action key was the best, the drama and the memes, that we overlooked the fundamental principle at work, that gradually reducing steering is better for hitting the sweet spot steering angle. This is how bobsleigh should be done perfectly, but next to nobody had actually bothered trying it, since just pressing one button and getting a decent result was much easier. After seeing it, I was very curious to try it myself, and I quickly discovered that it is indeed very difficult. The only strategy to make this even somewhat consistent was by using a legal plugin for the game called Dashboard, which lets you have an input display on screen at all times. Then you would drive a bobsleigh turn and stare at the input display and try to estimate when the arrow was about 35% filled up. After taking a while to get used to it, I was getting much faster attempts, and all that remained was chaining everything together in one run. .416, 400s faster than my original author time, and temporarily the world record on the map.
Jesus. Yeah, man. This is why I have so much respect for speedrunners, bro. Like, they just keep on innovating on a seemingly impossible challenge, and then they achieve the impossible, bro. Like, it's crazy, dude.
But the final time doesn't really tell the full story. Exiting the second bobsleigh turn, this run had a speed advantage of 5 over my 34% steering run, which meant that if the entry to the next turn was better, this run could have been a low 44.3, which would be far out of reach of what you could do with any action key. Soon after, Shadowcrancer also managed to beat the author time, and one day later, Mudda became the 5th player to beat 44.57, rounding out the pricing, both of them doing it on a controller. The medals came out looking amazing. The company WinMed did an amazing job designing them as close as possible to the in-game medals, and I'm very happy to be able to give these away to these 5 successful players.
That's so cool, dude.
But this isn't quite where the story ends. What was the aftermath of all this? Were custom action keys allowed or considered cheating? Were records I had driven with this keyboard still on the leaderboard, or did they have to be removed?
Oh, of course, he just used that keyboard on every single thing he did. Did he specialize all the turns and stuff with his keyboard, or?
Of August, we got some answers, when Nadeo made a statement addressing the issue. In the statement, they said the following: seeing the controversy about these action keys, instead of looking at the ways players try and maximize their advantage, it rather pushes us to revisit, for instance, ice bobsleigh gameplay, ideally to reach a situation where these methods would be too marginal for top performance. Later it reads, our hope and ambition is to make different input devices close enough without requiring analog single action keys, and to eventually maybe even remove action keys entirely. Using a personal custom key to lock your steering automatically at an optimized angle is unfairly advantageous when consistency is valued as a skill, and therefore will be considered unwanted and disallowed until further notice. We will not sanction players or records for this retroactively, as we agree that this has been a very difficult topic without clear rulings before.
Yeah.
Players who may have used...
I think it's very bad to punish people for doing something that they didn't know that they weren't allowed to do. It's called what's it called? It's like ignorance of the law, right? And whenever you are ignorant to a law that you broke, then your sentence will either get dropped or they will dramatically reduce your punishment. So I think it's always bad to punish people for something that they didn't know they were doing. In a game sense, I mean, if you steal a car and you say, "Oh, I didn't know you could steal a car," yeah, you're stupid, right? Nobody's gonna fall for that. But like this, considering there's no like clear policy or clear rules for this at all for forever, right? I think punishing people that did something which they didn't know wasn't allowed is very bad, and it will definitely create a very bad reputation for the game developers.
Used this method before this article are not considered to have been cheating, but this article does serve as a warning going forward.
Yeah, so essentially after this statement has been made, the moment we see you cheating with the keyboard that's with special action keys, you are either getting banned of the game or your record doesn't count. It will get removed from the leaderboard or something like that. I bet that's something that it would do from going forward.
Quickly summarized, they're disallowing custom action keys from now on, but they will not penalize players, like myself, thankfully, who have used them in the past, since they did not have any rules about them back then. They also alluded to potential physics changes for bobsleigh and ice, to remove the need for action keys and improve the long-term health of the game. When Adeo say they are looking to do big changes like this, it's usually assumed that these will be far in the future. But only a couple of weeks later, it was rumored by people with inside knowledge that an update to Ice and Bobsleigh was coming as close as the 1st of October. This update would make Bobsleigh so that it's equally fast on keyboard and controller, which sounds like a great idea. But this update was also going to permanently change the game, because if the rumors were true, it would make any tracks featuring either bobsleigh or ice much slower. There's a community in Trackmania that collects Track of the Day author medals. There's over 700 in total now, and to get them all, you need to grind a lot of different tracks for a lot of different incredibly hard medals. But out of those 700 maps, Midori would be the first one to become officially impossible after this physics update. And they realized they had just a little over a month to get to work if they wanted to get it before the doors shut close forever. The player Monkey grinded the track for over 150 hours in total, but luckily he would be rewarded for his effort when he got an astonishing 44.336 on the track. A run that simply carried nearly perfect speed throughout the map, beating the author time by 1200ths of a second. Other players were not so fortunate. The players Spam and Dexter put in an equally Herculean effort. Having spent most of their time in Trackmania playing tight drifting tracks, Bobsleigh Full Speed was quite out of their element. Both of them accrued upwards of 100 hours grinding Midori, getting excruciatingly close many times over. But as the 1st of October rolled around, both of them fell just a few hundred short of getting the medal.
Damn.
As the new physics update dropped, the first thing I did was go back to Midori to see the damages, only to quickly realize that there was absolutely no chance of beating the author time anymore. A great run on the track now would be about 3 seconds slower. Many of the most passionate ice and bobsleigh players really dislike this new update.
Yeah.
And have made a petition for Nadeo to revert the changes. But knowing the alternative, it's hard to say what's better. You know, if only there was a competitive Trackmania game with over a decade-long history of records and leaderboards without any updates during that time, that'd be great. In the days since the patch, Midori has become completely abandoned. What started out as a fun and unique challenge has eventually turned into Trackmania's version of Chernobyl, a land so filled with toxicity that nobody really wants to go there. The drama and the uproar all of this created really makes it one of the most controversial Trackmania maps of all time. But perhaps we can turn this into a learning experience. Starting soon on my live stream, I'm going to be building Midori 2.
Ooh.
And perhaps things can be done properly this time to create a challenge the way it was meant to be. Or perhaps I'll have to make another drama video in half a year's time.
It's been 2 years since this video.
We'll see how this one goes.
Okay. That was the video about the most controversial Trackmania map. It really changed a lot of things in the game because of this. A true butterfly effect, if you will. And I believe there's also another change that completely changed the game, which is they reduced the amount of speed boosters gave and stuff. So a lot of like older maps were very difficult to get auto time on, which were just in the campaign alone. Oh, this guy has a good point. Just allow custom action keys to be set within Trackmania itself. It solves the price barrier and lets everyone be happy with ice and bobsled. I think that's a really good solution. Yeah, that's definitely a really good solution. Oh, chat. I found it. I found the video. He made a video about this brand new map that we was building. Fuck it, we're watching it too. I don't care. We're doing it again. Here we go. Let's go, hit it.
2 days ago, I released the track Midori to the Trackmania community. Expectations for it were high from streamers and players, as there's quite a lot of backstory to the Midori series of maps. My main goal with this one was to build a pyramid, and to have players drive on all 4 sides of this beautiful monument, and I think I did a pretty good job at it. The scenery was done by Accusations, and I think he did a fantastic job at recreating the desert atmosphere you would have seen in Egypt 4,000 years ago. Another reason I wanted to build this map was to clear the record. You see, 2 years ago I built Midori, and on that one I wanted to build a bobsleigh full speed map and have it get track of the day. And I also wanted to set a really strong author time on it and offer prizes and real life author medals, like that one up there, to the first couple of players that could beat my author time. It was supposed to be a challenge about hunting and grinding and beating me at my best styles, but it became something entirely different.
Yep.
There was a lot of drama because I had driven my time on an analog keyboard, with a custom setup that let me press a key and receive 34% steering in-game all the time, which was quite good for high-speed bobsleigh. So quite a lot of drama, I nearly got implicated in cheating, and people were left with a sour taste from that event. So for this one, I wanted to do it properly. We're still gonna have bobsleigh, we're still gonna have full speed, we're gonna have pyramids, a new obsession of mine, but no custom action keys or anything of the sort. I wanted it to be a driving challenge where we all are on equal playing fields. And so going into this, players I think had that in their recent memory that Midori happened, and were also a little bit tense about what this map was gonna be. But here are the streamer reactions to the map and seeing it for the first time. I would like to thank them all for permissions to use their clips, and hopefully you go check out their streams as well. There's plenty of people streaming this game. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I appreciate it, guys. Let me know if you like the map, if you want me to build more, and I'll see you guys soon.
And obviously, I have no chance of winning the cup of the day either, because it's going to be omega stacked, right? Every good player and their mother knows there's prize, so they're going to play.
I try my best. Maybe it's like a map style that really suits me. If it's some sort of speed snowballing, which I know Wirtual, he likes that kind of stuff.
Holy leaked AT. Oh, wait. Wait, this is not the AT. Wait, it is Bob.
It's bobsleigh.
Bobsleigh! Come on!
Where are we driving on? This is road. Okay, the pyramid is road, guys. Where do I have to go?
Oh, I like
Bro, he's
this.
using a
I like
steering
this
wheel.
lot.
That's crazy,
no speed
dude.
sliding whatsoever. Oh, this is like a full... Nah, there's no way I can keep up with all of these players.
Driving on a pyramid, definitely unique. Never seen that before.
It looks pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie.
Virtual has the best time. I don't think you have to, but I don't think you can no slide. Maybe smooth steer. I just don't know that you can turn enough. I'm bad at the game though, so don't listen to me.
Yikes.
This is sick though.
It's a very snowball heavy map.
They just...
That's for sure.
Huh.
very similar in that way.
They just skipped an entire section of the game, of the map. They were like, oh, plastic wall bounce? Nah. Let's just let's just disregard that.
I don't even know if you want to speed slide this end, honestly. I feel like I'm losing in the end, or everything. I'm doing something wrong in the end. But I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. But...
Bro, this video is the equivalent of have you seen that video where Doom what's the game called again? Doom something? And the developers of Doom were reacting to speedruns of the game, and obviously Doom speedruns are fucking insane. If you haven't never seen them, they pretty much break the game entirely to beat the game as fast as possible. This is pretty much the equivalent of that. Like, Wirtual is looking at all these clips of his map, and he's like, oh fuck. Slowly but surely they are just ruining my map.
Yeah, the rating, at least on the Discord bot, is not great. And when I say not great, it's horrendous.
Yeah, okay, but that's honestly cap. Like, this is not about, man. People are just...
Yeah, it definitely isn't.
It's just hate projected by the fact that the last map he made completely changed the game fundamentally in a way that most people did not like it. I think they still blame Wirtual for exposing a issue that the developers didn't really think about, and then the fix that came about from the issue is still frowned upon, and that's why they're downvoting this map.
Huh? What is happening?
Whoa!
Okay, GG.
Imagine if you can recover that. Imagine if you can redo that and then recover from that.
Dude?
Oh, I'm going without cut then. Honestly, the cut doesn't even look fun. Because I'm not really here to win the competition, right? I just want to get the offer time. And getting with the offer time with a cut kind of seems cheap, no? I gotta jump in the end. I need to analyze the end, honestly.
Why are they like frowning upon a cut? Like, isn't it the whole part of the game where if you can find exploits in speedruns, you have to use them? Like, isn't that the whole thing about, like, majority of speedrunners? I mean, this is pretty much speedrunning the game, right? Like, I don't know.
Oh my god, he's shaking. He's got a zack!
Yes, I got it!
Zack!
Zack! Ah Mann, but not first, ey. Scheiße, ey.
He's second now, or?
That's a crazy setup, though. That's that seems so exhaustive.
Yeah, so, hello? I didn't even know. I only saw the first with the 444.2.
My name is Michael and I took a screenshot! Hello!
Okay, good cup of the day, guys. That was a good 1 hour of Trackmania. Very nice.
Bro took a screenshot.
Ah, yeah, nice. That's half of what I got for 6 weeks.
No, most of the time the sequel is worse than the prequel. And I guess this is the same thing.
One place where I felt I got unnecessarily a lot of flack was the scenery, where some people said it felt so empty and boring.
It's a fucking desert, bro. What did you expect? It's a fucking desert.
And I hate to break it to you, but this is what Egypt looks like.
Yeah.
The monuments, the statues, the obelisks.
It looks even emptier in real life.
But guys, due to all the criticism, I have decided to take a step back from mapping, and I will never build another Trackmania map.
Cap.
Or perhaps that is what they would like to hear, but it ain't gonna happen. Guys, I make Trackmania content because I love this game and I want to share my passion with you guys on a platform where people enjoy what I do. I don't care to appease 300 people that dislike my map. I'm not gonna bother at all. In fact, I would like to thank these people because, to their great horror, I have never felt more inspired to build more Track of the Day maps. More Midoris, more pyramids, and there is nothing they can do to stop us. No, Nadeo, do something, he's gonna build more maps, no. Player count doesn't lie, bitches, it's twice the usual average. Starting soon on my stream, I'm going to build another Track of the Day, and I would like you all to...
But that might just because, you know, you made the map. You are a well-renowned, well-known Trackmania player, and considering almost the whole community knows about you, whether it's from your YouTube or because of the drama surrounding your map, previous map, there will definitely be way more eyes on your content because, well, people noticed you in a significant way. So just because it's like with KSI, right? Now, I don't say KSI makes bad music, but the numbers that he pulls, those are bullshit. Okay, he doesn't make that great of a music. All right, but that's because he got a fan base, and same thing with you. You have a fan base, so definitely your fan base is gonna play them, right? People that know about you are gonna play them. Popular streamers will play them because it will be the one thing that day that will be very popular. Like, oh my god, Wirtual made a new track, right? And on top of that, there's people that hate you, which are the biggest fans, and they will do anything to see you destroyed, right? Which is like it's like pretty funny because the moment like haters going after somebody, there's like a counter force, right? Like you have the force of evil and the force of hatred that will try to push you down, but eventually you're just compressing that the good part and the fans, like it just springs back, right? So the more engagement you get for something, the better, even if it's hateful or negative. So but yeah, I will say, like, yes, there were a lot of people playing this map, right? However, there are some nuances to consider, and it's not just because your map is fucking fantastic, right?
Join me in the building process. In fact, I've already started building a bit off stream. I made this giant pool so that we can safely contain the tiers of boomers on Trackmania Discord servers, because we don't want to build a map where the entire stadium floods over. If you have more great ideas for what we can do with the map...
That's so toxic, dude.
Then please let me know in the live chat when I do build it. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know what you actually think about the map in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Oh boy, that was quite the video. I'll chop it up a little bit because the majority of the time I'm just watching them drive. You know, I'll make it a little bit more interesting than just me watching. I'll make it a little bit more interesting than me just watching the video, right? Alright, well, anyway, that was the Trackmania video. I don't think there's a lot of other things you can that I can react to concerning this game that will be interesting. But if you have some videos Trackmania related, let me know. Alright, leave a comment below. Or I don't know, send to my Discord or my Twitter or some shit. Yeah, with that being said, let me know what you thought about the video. Leave a like and subscribe. That's about it. Take care.